What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. So I am currently sitting in front of Christmas decorations. It is Christmas Eve, so don't mind that. I'm just gonna get right into the video. Today I'm gonna be talking with you guys about something super exciting, something I had been wanting to get done for a while but hadn't until recently. And as you can tell by the title, of course, that is laser hair removal. Yes. So if you're interested in what the procedure was like, what areas I got treated, what to expect after getting those areas treated, and of course the cost, then just stay tuned. Okay, so the first thing that I want to get into are the areas that I got treated, because that kind of paves the way for everything else. So the areas that I got treated were my underarms, my entire bikini, front and back. I also got some extra stuff on the backside as far as the area underneath my cheeks, and I got from my belly button down to the pubic area. So those were the areas that I got treated. Next question, what my experience was like and why I decided to go through with the laser hair removal. So let me start off by saying I am half Puerto Rican, I'm half Albanian. As you guys can see, my skin tone is on the fair side and my hair is black. I have been dealing with hair all over my body since I was probably in the 4th grade. I definitely started getting underarm hair, leg hair, all of the above before most of my peers, and I remember actually having to do the Nair and using hair removal cream even on my upper lip just because I was always a really hairy person. Also, when I shave, well, firstly, because my skin is fair in tone and because my hair is so jet black, the hairs are very prominent when they do start to grow in. But what makes things worse is that when I shave, it actually grows back in within, I would say, maybe 12 to 15 hours. Like literally, I'm not exaggerating at all. It's just my experience, my genetics, my DNA, and the way things work on my body. I can shave my underarms, say that morning, we're going to the beach, hop in the shower, shave my underarms, come back home, take another shower, take a look under my underarms and see that hair is already starting to grow back. So that's just the kind of person that I am. And it was something that bothered me. Also, because of the shaving, the frequent shaving, it's inevitable that you're going to end up with razor bumps, ingrown hairs, and it's just not going to look very appealing in the areas that you have to shave constantly in. So for these reasons, laser hair removal was something that I was always interested in and always wanted to do. Plus, can you imagine how much time you'll save not having to shave your entire body X number of times a week? It's just so life-changing, and I'm so glad I went through with it. So that's the first part of that question. And then the second part of the question is what to expect. So basically when you go in, you are going to meet with whoever's going to be doing the treatment. I met with my nurse and also a doctor for my first session. So the doctor came in, took a look at my skin, took a look at my unique case, and determined along with the nurse which laser, which frequency, which intensity, X, Y, and Z they were going to use to perform the treatment. So this is why doing at-home laser hair removal was not something that I was interested in or even willing to look into, just because it is such a unique sort of process that they have to go through with each person. There are so many factors to take into consideration, and ultimately lasers are concentrated beams of light, and if things go wrong with a laser, there's a whole bunch of negative sorts of outcomes that can result, like scarring, for example. It's very safe if you get it done with a licensed professional, but definitely not something that I would recommend doing myself or recommending that you do on your own. Even though it might be cheaper, you kind of get what you pay for. That's the way I looked at it, and I would rather pay a little more and rather be safe than sorry. So like I said, the nurse and the doctor both have to kind of determine together which laser they're going to use and kind of customize the settings so that they can get the best result without burning you, basically. So that's what they ended up doing. They took a look at the areas. Then after that, they instruct that you clean the areas. Of course, you're going to be, showered and clean anyway, but they just leave you a little wipe and then you can get started with the treatment. So as far as the treatment goes, they only pass the laser or the beam of light over the area that you're getting treated once. So they pass the laser, over your underarm, Once the entire area has been treated, they'll then move on to the next area. So that's how it works. They don't go over areas twice. At least that was my experience. All in all, for all of the areas that I got treated, it took me maybe 40 to 45 minutes, definitely no more than an hour to get everything treated. So it was a relatively quick procedure. So on the topic of, did it hurt? Yes, it absolutely hurt, and I was kind of getting to that point. Laser hair removal is pretty painful. I myself have a pretty high pain tolerance. I get laser tattoo removal, I get my lips injected, and more often than not, I choose to get them injected without any numbing cream, because for those of you who get your lips injected, you know that numbing cream causes swelling, and that can kind of interfere with what your injector thinks the end result is going to be. So I prefer to get my lips injected without any numbing cream, and like I said, I get the laser tattoo removal, which in itself is pretty painful. So I'm not new to lasers, so I didn't think that laser hair removal was something that was going to be like, oh my god, I can't tolerate this. I was able to get through it, but next time, definitely I'm going to take 2 Tylenols, and I'm gonna ask that they apply some numbing cream to the area. I just didn't want to do that because, like I said, I thought that this was something I was going to be able to tolerate, no problem, and I didn't want to take pills, you know, unnecessarily. Now I know that it hurt really bad, so next time I'm gonna be a little more prepared. For me, as I already stated, I got my underarms treated and I got a full bikini front and back, along with other areas like my belly button, for example. So those are all really sensitive areas and they have lots of nerves. So you can imagine what shooting a beam of concentrated light would feel like in those areas. But maybe if you're getting like your arms or your legs even, probably won't hurt as bad. So just kind of think about the areas that you're going to get treated and kind of use that to determine what the pain may be like. Ultimately though, I definitely think that it's worth it. I, after just one session, have already experienced, I would say maybe a 65 to 70% reduction in hair growth in those areas, which is amazing, especially for someone like me who, like I said, I would shave and literally within that same day would start to see the hair pop through the skin again. So to have that much of a reduction in hair growth and just hair in general in those areas is amazing and is so life-changing, and I would 110% recommend this procedure if you're considering it, even if you are a little concerned about the pain, just because of the long-term benefits that you're going to get out of this. The next question I'm going to answer, which I know is like the number one thing that people want to know because it's the number one thing that I was most curious in, was how much the procedure actually costs. So as you might know, or as you probably have figured, it 100% depends on the area that you're getting treated and also how many sessions you are purchasing. So for me, I ended up doing, like I said, 2 different areas: underarms, full bikini front and back, and the bikini for me included the area underneath your cheeks and also your belly button down. So for all of that, the grand total was $2,600, so $2,600 for all of that. The reason why it actually costs that much is because I just so happened to schedule my appointment during a month that the med spa that I was going to was having a sale or a special. So they were doing a buy one, get one free. If you purchase a bikini, you get the underarm free, which was super exciting. I was so lucky and so glad that I called at the time that I did, because those were the 2 areas that I wanted to get treated regardless, and I was prepared to pay full price for both. So that was awesome. So for both of those areas, it cost me $2,600, but only because they were doing a buy one, get one free for that month. It really just depends on where you're going to get it done and who's going to be performing this procedure. There are plastic surgeons who perform laser hair removal, and I can almost guarantee you that, of course, if you're getting a plastic surgeon to perform the procedure, it's gonna cost more as compared to a nurse. So it's just kind of how the cookies crumble, and that's just sort of the way that it works. I had a nurse perform my procedure. I went to a med spa. Like I said, I had a great experience. It was a med spa that I had been to several times before for several different procedures, so I felt totally comfortable. And for me, just knowing that it was a registered nurse was enough. But for some people, if you want it to be an MD, if you want it to be a plastic surgeon, I'm sure that you could find an accredited person to perform the procedure, it might just cost you a little more because of their credentials. So that's just something to keep in mind. I paid for a package or a bundle deal, and I purchased 8 sessions per area, or 8 treatments per area. So every 8 weeks or so, plus or minus, it kind of depends on your individual case and what's recommended for you. But approximately every 8 weeks or so, you do have to go back in for your next session. And that's simply because different hair follicles are active at different times. Kitty cat. So the nurse was explaining to me that in order for the follicle to be zapped and killed so that it can no longer produce hair, it needs to be during a particular hair growth stage, and it needs to have an adequate blood supply. If there is no blood supply, then the follicle cannot be zapped and killed. So that's why you have to go at different time points so that you can catch these follicles during different hair growth stages in the hair growth cycle, ultimately have the end result of no hair growth at all. They also said that due to maybe changes in medications or changes in hormones or just aging, hair can regrow. So it's not 100% permanent, it's more like a 95% permanent. So it depends on you on a case-by-case basis, it varies, but they were explaining to me that approximately 1 to 2 times a year, could be more, could be less, you will have to go in for a follow-up or touch-up session just to ensure that you remain bald in those areas. So because I purchased 8 sessions or 8 treatments, I don't have to use them all at once. And let's say a year from now, I need one of these follow-up sessions, I'm noticing a hair or 2 pop through, I can sort of bank those sessions or those treatments that I have not yet used, go back and use them. So that's just part of my package, part of my bundle deal at my med spa, but again, it can vary from place to place. I just want to include this in the video because I know that it can be really helpful, especially if you are new to procedures like this and you're not really sure what to expect or what's typical or what the norm is. It might be good to know what other people have paid for and what their contract is like, because essentially it is a contract. You're paying for these sessions and you're being told that these sessions are not going to expire. As long as we're open, whether that's in a year or 5 years or 10 years, you can always come back to us and use some of these sessions that you already paid for, just have not yet used. So just something that I think is valuable, again, for people who might not know. I personally really wanted to create this video because laser hair removal, like I said before, was something that I always wanted to do, but I didn't know much about. So I found myself going on YouTube and looking at videos and looking at what people had to say about it and what their experience was like. And I found that to be really helpful. So that's why I decided that I would make a video about this and hopefully make things a little more clear for someone who was in the same position that I was in. So that's pretty much that. And then the last thing I'll answer is what to expect afterwards. So essentially afterwards, the area is going to be pretty sore. You might have some swelling, but all of that yucky sorts of stuff pretty much subsides within a few days post-treatment, so that's nice. Just try not to put any fragrance, any deodorant, any heavy creams or oils on the area immediately after treatment and, the few days immediately following treatment, just so that the area can kind of breathe and heal and recuperate a little bit after it was just shot with a beam of light. Also pretty painful, so just kind of leave the area alone and let it be. Immediately afterwards, the area is going to be sort of sore, and they are going to put some aloe on it. They might put some anti-redness cream. Certainly they're going to put some kind of balm, some kind of product on the treated areas. So it would be nice if you just had something comfortable, something loose that you can slip into. You're not going to be worried too much about if it gets stained with any balm, and it's not going to be too restrictive on the area, cause lots of sweating. Like this shirt, for example, if you're getting your underarms treated, is an example of what not to wear. So just kind of keep that in mind as well. Also, your hair will actually start to fall out of the follicle, which is kind of gross, but also really satisfying to see. And it's kind of like, oh, okay, I spent like all this money, but hey, look, the hair's falling out, so that means that this is working. So it was kind of interesting to see and also sort of reassuring, cool, gross at the same time. So actually, like my underarm, for example, so you lift up your underarm, right? And of course you can see that there are little pieces of hair that are starting to protrude outward. So if you actually squeeze an area like you would a blackhead or something on your face, I know this is pretty gross, but if you actually squeeze, hair will pop out of your skin. And that's actually hair that was in the follicle, but now that the follicle has been zapped and killed, the hair just falls out. So you'll notice immediately after the treatment, And I guess immediately after, until maybe 2 to 3 weeks post the treatment, you're going to get some fallout. Almost like your weave is shedding, but it's like actually hair inside of your skin that's just falling out because the follicle is dead. So that's pretty cool too. Interesting to see, like little pieces of hair just kind of come out. So be on the lookout for that. You'll see it in your deodorant, you'll see it in your soap in the shower. That's gonna happen. So what else? I'm trying to think of what else. Oh, and I guess I should mention this too in case it happens to you. So because my nurse and my doctor were so amazing at figuring out exactly which laser would be best for my unique case, literally as my nurse was zapping me, hair was shooting out of the follicle. So it was, like I said, really gross, but also very satisfying and also reassuring, because it's like, okay, well, you guys obviously found the right laser for me. It's working so well that I don't even have to wait the 2 weeks for the hair to fall out. My follicles are literally being zapped and killed right now in real time, and the hair is shooting out of my skin. So that was also pretty cool, something to keep in mind. It may or may not happen to you, but certainly if it doesn't happen in real time at your session, it will happen within the maybe 2 to 3 weeks immediately post session. All right guys, so I don't want to make this video super lengthy. I think I've already talked enough. So as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like this video if you liked the video, of course. Let me know. And don't forget to subscribe for more videos from me. Turn on your post notifications so that you don't miss any videos from me. And let me know in the comments what you thought about this video, if you found it helpful. I would really like to know, just for my own personal use. That way I can kind of change things up in the future. And let me know if you went through with the procedure and what your experience was like, because I'm honestly really curious to know, because I'm new to this too. So it would be nice for us to exchange a little bit. So definitely utilize that comment section, like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next video. Bye guys, happy holidays.